we must be organised, because the song that I'm going to play in 2 ticks is Sabrina Carpenter and Taste, which is perfect because we're going to be chatting about NE1's Restaurant Week right now. Super popular one on the calendar. We've had it on our family WhatsApp chat. Lots of discussions around Restaurant Week, and it's an amazing thing, and it's grown and grown and grown. So here to tell us a little bit more about how it works and where we can indulge and what it's all about, Ben Whitfield, NE1's Director of Communication and Chef and Restaurateur. And I never know if I've said that right, Terry. Restaurateur. It's a French word, isn't it? Do you say it for me, Terry? Because how do you say it?
Restaurateur.
That's it. I always feel like I want to put the N in there, and it hasn't got an N in there. And of course, boss of the 21 Hospitality Group, Terry Laybourne. Terry, thank you so much for coming in. So first of all, I guess, Ben, for anybody who's not got involved before, just explain what Restaurant Week is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a concept we've been doing since 2011, as we chatted about when we came in.
Yeah.
And basically, it's restaurants across the city centre offering 15, 20 or £25 menus all through the week. And we do it twice a year. January notoriously was the quietest week of the year. The third week of January was the quietest week in the whole calendar, as everyone sort of comes down from Christmas and New Year. So Terry, way back in the day, and my boss Stephen had a chat about what we could do and came up with Restaurant Week, and here it is. Yeah, it's gone from strength to strength ever since. Great idea. So that was back 2011 then, Terry, that this idea first kind of came about?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently. I'm not my mind doesn't quite go back that far these days.
Yeah, mine doesn't either. And so was the idea just really to kind of boost people coming out, because I suppose it is a quiet time and it's a difficult time for restaurants, January, isn't it?
It is. It's notoriously difficult. You come off that huge high of December and Christmas in particular, and there's inevitably a bit of a slump.
Yeah.
And not just in cash terms, but in terms of energy within the team. Because
they're working hellish long shifts, aren't they?
Indeed. Through December, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So in that first week, I mean, can you remember kind of what you expected and what you got? Did you get a lot of people involved? Because I think I do actually remember the 2011 one, because I think I was on a different radio station then, commercial radio station, but I remember lots of people talking about it, and I remember it being pretty big.
The numbers were big. It was new.
Yeah.
It was fresh out of the box. We didn't really know what we were going to be dealing with.
Yep.
I think we were 8 restaurants, Ben, if I remember right.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah. I think 12, but it's only because we have the poster in the office still.
Okay, 12. Clearly, we got a result. All these years later, it's still going. It's still working. I've just looked at the numbers this morning, and it's pretty healthy for the week.
Yeah, that's great. And when you say you've looked at the numbers, is that for your restaurants and looked at what you've got booked in?
Yeah, for my restaurants, yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of numbers as a whole, Ben, it's grown and grown and grown, hasn't it? More and more people got involved, as you guys said, 8 to begin with, and all these years later, how many have you got now?
Yeah, absolutely. The team just sort of flagged it with me the other day that we're very close to having the most restaurants, and it's not something that we always aim for. It's more of a byproduct of a healthy industry in the city, really.
Yeah.
Because we want to make sure that it's a really high quality event. But for me, it's the number of diners that get involved. And August was a record breaker. 60,000 there were. Although that was a little bit to do with the fact that we extended it slightly because of some cancellations with the potential unrest, should we say, last summer. So last January, 55,000. That's what we're aiming for. And you can feel it across the whole city.
Yeah.
It's really vibrant. Even the streets, you can feel it on the streets and on the metro, and everywhere you look as you walk through the city and through the windows, you can see people sort of dining out. It's fantastic. We love it.
I think as well, staying in's great. I enjoy staying in, getting cozy January, but after week 2, I'm like, and now I want to get dressed up, put on some lipstick, and I am sick of wearing stretchy trousers on my sofa. There's something lovely about getting dressed and going out and not being the person that has to do the washing up and not being about the person that has to think about what you're going to do and what you're going to make. It's a treat, isn't it, Terry? Going out is a real treat.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed, we need to do more of it.
Yeah, we do if we can afford it. And the thing is that this is an affordable way to do it.
Yeah.
So, and it's a way for people to try new types of food. Speaking of which, Terry, obviously over the years, I think the North East food scene in general has changed massively. From your point of view, as somebody who's, absolute expert in it, how has it changed?
Oh, immeasurably.
Yeah.
Immeasurably, both in terms of variety, quantity, variety, and quality, quite frankly.
Yeah. And in terms of kind of getting young people into hospitality and getting young people into being chefs and things like that, I think everybody thinks you have to whiz off down to London and pay these exorbitant rents and things. But now there are lots of good opportunities in the North East, aren't there, to stay in hospitality, would you say?
Oh, there are. Yeah, there are. And it's the variety, I guess.
Yeah.
That provides that.
Yeah. What kind of skills would you say if people are trying to get into this industry? I mean, I know we're kind of going a bit off piste here with this chat, but what sort of skills would you say people have to have?
A curious mind, first and foremost. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Dexterity.
Yeah.
It's very much a craft, and you're working with your hands. Energy, enthusiasm, all the cliches, I guess. I'm sure that anyone from any other industry would trot out the same stuff.
And you have to work damn hard, not be afraid of long hours.
Well, it's, the hours aren't as long as they were.
Good. That's a good thing, isn't it?
The hours aren't as long as they were.
Yeah.
And I think the huge positive, though, is the element of team.
Yeah.
It's beautiful sometimes, we witness youngsters come in who can barely string a sentence together and barely look you in the eye. And 3 years later, they go away having grown 6 inches and 12 inches in stature.
That's fantastic. That's lovely to hear. Yeah.
And it's something that's often forgotten, I think, with our industry,
And because it's respect, it's diligence, it's being on time, there's learning an awful lot, isn't there, for hospitality?
Yeah, but also the interaction with other people.
Yeah.
For front of house folk.
Absolutely.
The job's often derided as being servile. And I think in reality, it's anything but,
Absolutely. Somebody great looking after you on a night out, that can make or break your night, I think, 100%. And if you want to get out there and try it this week, what restaurants are you going to try, Ben?
It's a good question. I should have prepared. I'm actually on babysitting duties this week quite a lot. My wife's got two booked in. One of them is 21.
Yeah.
So I'm in the right room with Terry
you are.
here. My parents are going to 21 as well, so it's just me that's left out of that, unfortunately. I am partial to Kai, I have to say. Terry, apologies. I like 21 obviously as well. And Dakwala. I really want to get to Dakwala. I've not been there since. I think this is their second time.
So this is people's chances to have a go and get out there.
Absolutely.
And do you ever get to dine anywhere else, Terry? Do you get to ever have any time down to go and And I bet people are frightened when you walk through the door.
I do. I do it socially, but I've also got to keep my finger on the pulse, as it were.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Will you have any time this week in this restaurant week?
I won't, I'm afraid.
No.
It's highly unlikely anyway.
Too busy. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Terry, and giving us a little insight. And thank you very much, Ben, as well. And if people want to find out more, where can they go?
If you go to getintonewcastle.co.uk, you'll find all the menus. And then when you narrow that down, you can get ahead with booking somewhere.
Superb. Fantastic stuff.